gents.
Good evening.
Today I would like to discuss a very interesting topic which would be a pretty common one between all of us. Should the chartered accountants be allowed to advertise freely?
Yes.
Now when someone asks me this question, the only thing that comes up in my mind is, why not? I mean, are the businessmen put under any such restrictions to sell their product? Or even for that matter, in the service sector, when we apply for a job, aren't we selling ourselves or our services to the employer through our resumes, which is as good as advertisement stating all our qualities and everything? So I don't understand. Usually when I say these two things, people come up with the fact profession is different, business is different, so profession speaks for itself and all that crap. That is utter crap. How does the mind of a CA speaks for himself? I've heard it many times. But who does he speak to? To the empty chairs, to the empty tables in the offices? There has got to be someone. If you don't advertise, how are people supposed to know? And in the hospitals, the hospitals advertise on the radio, on television, in newspapers, everywhere you can hear, we have the best doctor team, we have this, we are this. No one ever questions them. Even that is a profession. And as far as I am concerned, we work our asses off. Day and night we work to become a chartered accountants. Not to see this day, I seriously think that there would come a day when we would have to thank chartered, when we would have to thank Institute for letting us use the degree CA in front of a name. Because that is the only thing they have given us. We cannot do anything other than that. We cannot publish, we cannot use our names, we cannot use our degrees, we cannot use anything. If you have done a PhD and a chartered accountancy course, then you can use only one of those degrees and other conditions as well. So I guess there would come a time when we would like to thank for allowing us to use at least the degree in front of a name. Now don't we all realize this? That we would like to advertise, because which businessman, biggest of the businessmen, can sell their product without any advertising strategy? I would say none. No one can know about a product unless it's there in the market. So we don't get that opportunity. We're ripped of it, and I don't believe that we should be handicapped, whereas others are not restricted and others are not put under any such restrictions. Because we as chartered accountants don't have much tangible things to show for ourselves. So no one can know how good we are unless we tell them or something, but that is nothing. So if you ask me, I would say chartered accountants should be allowed to advertise freely, although there can be some restrictions. And one more thing I would like to add to it. Nowadays everything is online, so it doesn't matter, it's not area bounded or something. A chartered accountant in Bombay can provide services to a person in London. So it's not something, but how would that person in London come to know of a chartered accountant that is very good, supposedly very good in his work? So for all these matters, advertising is necessary, if you ask me. But then there's a flip side to it. Okay, advertising is necessary, but how to control them? What if there's a fraudulent kind of an advertising? Look, if a product comes in the market like a fairness cream or something, and you can grow a fair shade lighter in 3 days and everything they claim, what's the worst case scenario if these things doesn't turn up? The worst thing is you don't grow fair, the girl next door doesn't notice you, or anything like that. But what happens here is, if you claim that you can do tax litigation or something like that to a client, advertise it. The client believes in you through your advertisements. They come to you, they trust you on their money. But if you are not able to perform that job because of the fraudulent advertisement, then you will rip that client off. And he'll really criticize you in the public, and that would lead to negative publicity of the institute as well as the person himself. So I don't think it is very much on the cards, the advertising thing for a chartered accountant. Now, another thing is, suppose I'm doing some kind of just a certification kind of work for a company like ITC or anything, a big company. I'm taking just 500 rupees fees or 300 rupees fees, and I'm doing just a certification course, certification job. Now, what happens is when I publish it in my advertising, in my advertising and everything, I don't say that this is the kind of work that I am doing or this is the nature of the work that I am doing. I just tell them that this is what in my client profile, I add the name ITC. The person who wants to come to me would just see ITC and you would think all kinds of things, that he might be a tax litigator or a statutory auditor, because even he doesn't know the details of it. And he doesn't care. He sees ITC, he'll come to me. Now, that leads to misleading information, and that would really hamper the spirit of the institute. Another thing is the disparity. For example, PricewaterhouseCoopers. If this advertising is made legal and everything, then PricewaterhouseCoopers or Deloitte or the Big Four, they're just sitting on the edge of their seats for this thing to happen. They would spend millions and millions of rupees in their advertisements. The advertisements would run on big hoardings, on televisions and everything. Whereas what happens to those mid-sized firms and the small firms? They don't have enough funds. They would just publish their article in the newspaper itself, and they would have to be content with that only. So this would create a disparity, and I don't think that both of them would be on a level playing field. So it is not good for the mid-sized or the small firms. And so I'd like to conclude, basically my opinion is that there should be advertising for a chartered accountant, although there might be certain restrictions and not in general advertising which is allowed for the products of a service sector, but advertising should be there because that is the only way to reach people and to tell them about our capabilities and our qualifications, because we work really hard for it and we need something, because even jobs are not so easy for a chartered accountant as it seems from the outside. So advertising is necessary, and those restrictions could be put by the institute. So it would turn out great. Thank you.
Who's coming next?